I suggest taking advantage of the current situation, immigration or entry requirement in the Philippines. This may not last too long. I hope it does. I hope it becomes permanent now that we're back to normal, or almost back to normal. The only difference right now is that non-citizens will need to be vaccinated. Okay, that is the only restriction right now. Only the citizens of the Philippines are allowed to come in. If you are vaccinated, there is no quarantine requirement. If you're unvaccinated, there is a quarantine requirement, a short period of time. But for foreigners, non-citizens, you are required to be vaccinated. That's not too bad. Well, but for some it'll be bad, for the unvaccinated ones, sorry to say. But for many people, the current situation is pretty good. Before April 1st, they required everybody who is not a citizen of the Philippines to carry this weird, unreasonable travel medical insurance. Just because other countries are doing it, Philippines follow suit. And everybody knows insurance is nonsense in the Philippines. You have to have the cash to check into the hospital. And with few exceptions, okay? Now, so for practical purposes, that is meaningless. That has since been eliminated with the exception of few people. Take advantage of the recent change because you never know if we will go back to lockdowns and restrictions again. That's what we'll talk about. Stay with me. Before I continue, I want to talk about one word that I used before and somebody got offended. I said, take advantage of this situation. And he said to me, I'm not taking advantage of this situation. This is the law. So I'm just following the law. I did not mean take advantage in a bad sense. See, in the United States, we don't use the word avail. In the Philippines, they use the word avail. If you want to take advantage of this law, you want to avail of this law. So I'm not used to using avail. So when I say take advantage, I don't mean it in a negative way. I don't mean it to mean mapagsamantala. I don't mean it that way. I meant just take advantage of the opportunity. In the Philippines, they'll say avail of the opportunity. Well, I don't use the word avail. Let's move on because I will use the term take advantage. Effective April 1, they made a change, and that is they removed the travel insurance requirement for spouses of balikbayan or Filipino citizens. That's good. They are going to be in the Philippines and they will be staying for up to 1 year. And it's not practical to have this travel insurance. Travel insurance is supposed to be temporary while you are traveling, not staying for an extended period of time. So to me, that is not practical. So there were a lot of noise created because of that, and now they eliminated that requirement. So I would say to everybody, take advantage. Go to the Philippines now. In particular, especially for people who are foreigners, or they're not living with their wife in the Philippines. They cannot enter as balikbayan because to enter as balikbayan, your wife has to be traveling with you. So if you're alone in the US and you cannot go back, you're stuck, right? Okay, well, now they made a change. You can now get a 30-day visa-free if you belong to one of the 157 countries under Executive Order number 408. You will be able to enter 30 days visa-free. Then once you enter, apply for a 13A visa. 13A visa is granted to people who are married to a Filipino citizen. Now, I heard, of course, that the 13A visa is only good while your wife is alive. But you know what? If my spouse dies, it's going to be a change in life anyway for me. So many things would change, and that could include a visa. Maybe you can convert it to SRRV visa. But why not take advantage of this opportunity when you can at least go in visa-free if you're in one of these Executive Order 408 countries, which includes Canada, United States, Argentina, Spain, and enter the country. Like what I said, after the election, who knows? Things may be better. Maybe all these restrictions are going to be eliminated and we're back to normal. On the other hand, especially now that there's another virus coming out of China, things could be different again. So my suggestion is take advantage of it now. There are some SRRV visa holders and even 13A visa holders who left the Philippines without their wives and got stuck. They got stuck in the United States, for example, or in another foreign country, and they cannot go back. So this is good, and I would suggest that anybody who's hesitant to stay in the Philippines permanently, well, at least if you want to stay temporarily but an extended period of time, get one of these visas. Now, the problem with the SRRV is there is an investment that is required. For 13A, it's only requiring that you are married to a Filipina. And I think you have to show some financial capability to support the Filipina. So, I would suggest that you take advantage of this opportunity now and not waste time. And boy, oh boy, I wish things will change for the better after April 15. They seem to be changing it now every 15 days, which is better than before. Before they would change it at a moment's notice or zero notice. And well, even today, they make changes, but guess what? They don't give you advance notice. For example, this travel insurance requirement. Some people traveling to the Philippines will arrive April 1 or April 2, and they already bought the travel insurance. They made the change March 31st. So they just wasted their money, or maybe it's too late to cancel, or maybe it's non-cancelable insurance policy they bought. I wish they will have a little bit more foresight in giving people advance notice as to what changes are coming. But it is what it is. That's how the Philippines is, and that's how they react. And as much as I don't like it, we have to live with it. Now, when I decided to retire in the Philippines, or at least spend much time in the Philippines, I said to myself, oh, I don't care about these idiosyncrasies because I'm not in business. I'll not be dealing with the government. Well, I'm only going to enter and leave, and enjoy myself in the Philippines, not thinking that the pandemic came. And with the pandemic, wow, everybody got involved. That includes me. And as far as entering the country and complying with all these restrictions and requirements, I never expected that before the pandemic. But that's the only thing that will happen for sure, and that is expect the unexpected. Anyway, this is all I have to communicate today, because I see this might be a small window in time for you to take advantage of the present environment. Of course, if the environment goes back to the previous one, it's better not to be in the Philippines because, for example, in the United States, we had a lot more freedom. We were also restricted, but we had a lot more freedom compared to that of the Philippines with all these restrictions and lockdowns and vaccination mandates and so forth and so on. So guys, please do share this with other people. Take this to heart. This is a good time to take advantage of this situation.